spent our entire lifetime being told that we had the best of everything. So leaving felt enormous. But here's what actually happened. We were wrong about everything we thought we knew.
Healthcare. What if something goes really wrong?
Oh my God, I don't feel scared.
Before we moved to Spain, we had a list of fears. Healthcare. What if something goes really wrong? Food. What if we can't find the food we like? Safety. Is it really safe over there? Friends. What happens if we lose touch with our friends?
We were Americans. We had spent our entire lifetime being told that we had the best of everything. So leaving felt enormous. But here's what actually happened. We did an entire video about healthcare, and I'll put the link in the description, but we were wrong about everything we thought we knew. It's just better. Full stop.
One of the things I was worried about was that the doctors wouldn't speak English. And I actually found the first place I went to, they really didn't speak English very well, and I was nervous about that because with medical, you want to know what they're talking about. But that resolved very quickly. I went to another doctor and they spoke perfect English and French
And German. Perfect Spanish.
So that was resolved right away. I was nervous about whether we could get the same medications that we had because they have a different name over here. And I ended up being able to find everything I needed. It may be called something different, but I found everything I needed. It was much more reasonable and the quality was as good or better than in the US.
One of our real fears was safety. You know, we've been in some of the big cities in Spain and worried, low level safety fears, maybe get mugged or something, but certainly nothing like the United States, but we're used to living with that level of being on high alert. And we had a realization really early on into our time in Spain where we just had an aha moment of, oh my God, I don't feel scared. I think one of the most noticeable examples of this was right after we got here. We went to Malaga to celebrate Semana Santa, and we were watching a procession and surrounded completely by the abuelas and babies and, kids everywhere, and a completely packed crowd. Packed. Flowers coming down from the apartments
Everyone's
above.
throwing flowers onto the crowd. It was so cool.
It was beautiful, but there were fireworks happening, or at least crackers or some kind of noise. But we noticed that we weren't afraid.
Right.
We weren't looking for the closest exit and didn't even realize that we had been living with that low-level dread
Yep.
every time we were in a crowd until we didn't have it. And it is wonderful.
So one of our worries was about food, that we weren't going to find food that we liked or that we were used to. But what we found was so much better. Food is an event here. We have fresh everything. You can get fresh bread and it goes stale in about a day, but you get it every day. You get fresh vegetables, fresh fish, fresh meat. Everything that you want is so accessible here. And instead of shopping like once a week or once every 2 weeks in Costco, loading up your car and then filling up your refrigerator, you don't do it that way here. You shop when you eat, and it's always super high quality, and you feel great from it.
And meals are an event and a celebration and not just a way to sort of refuel. And we're finding, yes, we used to shop. We used to buy groceries for like 2 weeks in advance. And now we go every other day, if not every day, because the food is so fresh.
I mean, the bread gets stale because it's so fresh, and you don't mind. You just keep buying
The bread gets stale,
bread.
by the next day. It's
Right.
not stale when you buy it, of course.
No.
That would be bad.
That would be
It
stupid
didn't
of you to
happen.
buy it.
It would. No, but the food, the bread, that's right. It sounds like a complaint,
It's not a
but it's
complaint.
not.
Nope.
Another thing we were a little bit worried about was transportation. How were we going to get around? We know we've spent a lot of time in cities. We spent a lot of time in Valencia and know that the transportation was phenomenal.
Right.
But living here is completely, it just blows our mind coming from a country where mass transit is really rarely, if ever, good at all. For example, we decided to go into Malaga with some friends. It's about 45 minutes away. And ordinarily we would just drive because we're from California. And they said, well, why would you do that? Let's take the bus.
A bus. We never think of taking
We
buses.
never think of taking a bus.
And buses sound like they're a drag because you think of Greyhound going across the country in 1971. But
So be
no.
smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, it's not like that. There's a bus station right down the road. The buses are clean. It was so easy and so inexpensive. Wasn't it like €7
It
or
was
something?
€7.
And we found out just recently that you can take buses to the airport where we go often and we end up having to park our car, which is still really cheap compared to the US. But the buses, I think you can get to the airport for like €7. It's crazy.
And here there's a great public bus system, transit system. We don't have a train here in Marbella, but we see buses everywhere. Everybody takes them.
Yeah.
It's very common and it's really just spectacular. We love that about Spain.
We were worried, rightfully so, about missing our friends and not being able to make new friends. And we ended up meeting a group of people right away that became really good friends that we have ended up growing with them, going on trips with them, just having an amazing time. These are really good people. And when you have a group of friends, it makes the place feel like home, right?
It does. And our friends that we were worried about losing at home, we haven't. We don't talk as much as we'd
Two
like.
of them are coming tomorrow.
They are coming tomorrow, and we're really happy about that.
Yes, we are.
But the distance, yes, it makes a difference. And some people do fall off, and that's going to happen at various stages of your life anyway.
Right.
But overall, most of the people that we care about, we're still good friends with them.
And when you see people less often, and this even goes with our family, because we don't see our kids maybe as much as we did, but when we do a longer chunk of time. When you miss your friends and then you finally do get together, you really soak it up. You're very present for them and vice versa. And so, yeah, I think it actually makes you really appreciate everybody more.
So on the friends front, everything else you can research, the healthcare, the safety, all of those things. The friend thing was a really big unknown for us.
Yeah.
We didn't know what that was going to look like. We were really worried we were going to be lonely.
I mean, we were lucky. We were lucky that we met people as quickly as we did. So I think there was a little luck in there, but also I don't think that we're exclusive to meeting people. I think you just got to get out and try to meet people, which is what we did.
It's
So,
key.
yeah.
Here's what we've been sitting with for a year. We weren't underprepared, but we had just spent our entire life swimming in the belief that everything we had was the best.
Right. Healthcare, safety, food, community, and because we believed it, leaving felt like a risk. What we found on the other side was that most of those fears weren't about Spain at all. They were really about how much we were told not to question what we had.
What was the fear that almost stopped you from doing something that now you're glad you did? Definitely drop that in the comments.
If you like this video, like and subscribe and come back for more. We'll see you soon. Ciao.
Ciao.